Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWUS MLB Tuesday, doing Baltimore, New York in this one. As far as Monday, freaking Blue Jays, man. I mean, I need the Pirates to stay under 4.5. They're at 4, and there's still a lot of innings left. Blue Jays are down like 5-1. Looking like a rough start to the day, but as I'm recording this, there's still a lot of action left, so I don't want to jump to any conclusions. Definitely not the greatest start, though. We'll go through all 15 games on the live show at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. Orioles Yankees, Yankee Stadium. Let's go.
Welcome to the SWUS. The SWUS. SWUS. Hey, get the SWUS.
All right, like I said, we got Baltimore on the road in Yankee Stadium. Yanks are favored at home, -150, and the total sitting at 9. We got Albert Suarez pitching for Baltimore, Nestor Cortes on the mound for the Yanks. Take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we're pretty much deadlocked in this one. Very slight lean on the Yankees through 5 innings, 2.69 to 2.8. Very slight lean on Baltimore final score, 4.86 to 4.71. So let's take a look at this matchup, and we'll start with Nestor Cortes. On the season, got some great-looking numbers, 3.59 ERA, 1.12 WHIP. Last 3 starts, 4.86 ERA, 4.34 expected FIP. WHIP's climbing up a little bit, too, 1.38. So Nestor not quite as productive in his last few starts that he has been on the season. And if you take a look at his game logs, you can see 3 of his last 4 starts have been on the road, which may explain the dip in production. Because as we know, dating back multiple years now, Nestor Cortes much more reliable at home in Yankee Stadium. The only home start he's made in his last 4 was against the Dodgers. Yeah, they got to him, but it's the Dodgers. On the road in Kansas City, he was actually pretty good in his last start on the road in KC. Giants got to him in San Francisco. Angels, 5 1/3 innings, 2 runs. That's a solid start. So as a whole, Nestor Cortes has been really good. His numbers in his recent starts don't look great, but if you take into consideration the circumstances, no reason to be worried about Nestor Cortes here. He did already pitch against the O's earlier in the season, and they definitely got to him, though. He did make it 6 innings, of 8 hits, 2 walks, 4 runs. So Baltimore did score on Nestor earlier in the year. But before that game on April 30th, his first 7 starts against Baltimore were great. 3-0 with a 1.73 ERA, 0.89 WHIP. So historically, he's pitched really well against Baltimore. Wasn't the case on April 30th, though. We'll pull up the home-away splits, but you already know the story here. I mean, he's much better at home. ERA way down at home. Strikeout-to-walk ratio way better. Home runs per 9. WHIP, everything significantly better at home in Yankee Stadium. That's not to say he's not going to have his hands full in this game, though. He's pitching to Baltimore. In the last 30 days, this is a top 3 lineup. 3rd in WRC+, 3rd in OPS, 3rd in WOBA. Maybe cooling down a little bit, but I mean, the last 7 days, this is still a top 10 lineup. So we know Baltimore's about as good as it gets offensively. They're also one of the best road lineups in baseball. On the season, 4th, 4th, and 4th. In the last 30 days, 6th, 5th, and 6th. Here's where it gets a little interesting. Baltimore not hitting left-handed pitching, and I mean at all. In the last 30 days, this is a bottom 5 lineup in baseball against lefties, which is crazy to say because they absolutely murdered lefties last year, and they started off this season red hot against lefties. But they've gone cold against left-handed pitching. The last 6 lefty starters, 6. This is a solid sample size here. The last 6 lefty starters are pitching against the O's, 2.94 ERA and a 1.13 WHIP. So lefty starters have not had problems with this lineup. And if you look at the game logs, I mean, Ranger Suarez, 6 2/3 innings, 1 run. Max Fried, they got to. They got to Max Fried on June 11th, but look before that. Didn't get to Kikuchi. Didn't get to Crochet. Only 1 run on Kikuchi the first time on May 15th. Couldn't really get to Mitchell Parker. They did get to Nick Lodolo a little bit, but that's all the way back on May 5th. There's a lot of lefties pitching really good games against Baltimore right now, and that's a major question we need answered right now. Is Baltimore able to hit left-handed pitching or not? Because Nestor Cortes, look at his splits here. Against top 10 lineups versus lefties, an even 6 ERA and a 1.53 WHIP. So against lineups that can hit lefties, Nestor Cortes has struggled. He's absolutely been dominant against bottom 10 lineups versus lefties. Look at Baltimore. On the season, they're 2nd in WRC plus against left-handed pitching. They've been crushing they were crushing lefties earlier in the season, but in the last 30 days, 27th. So is this a top 10 lineup versus lefties or a bottom 10 lineup versus lefties? I mean, you be the judge. Overall, I think we can count on Nestor Cortes to get back on track here. I know it's Baltimore, but He's been really good at home. Baltimore hasn't been hitting lefties. I like Nestor Cortes to pitch well. On the other side, we got Albert Suarez pitching, and he's been pretty good, man. 182 ERA and a 115 whip on the season. In his last 4 starts, 140 ERA, 119 whip. Expected FIP indicates he's had a little bit of good luck, but still, let's not take credit away from him. He's pitched well. He's also pitched really well on the road. He's made 3 road starts this season, a 123 ERA and a 109 whip, 389 expected FIP. So he's pitched well. He's pitched well on the road. But this is going to be his biggest test. He's pitching in Yankee Stadium here. And the question is, are the Yankees bats cooling off? Because as we know, last 30 days, Yankees second across the board, one of the best lineups in baseball over the last month. Last 14 days, last 7 days, not quite as impressive. Same story at home. On the season, one of the best home lineups in baseball. Last 30 days, last 14 days, we're seeing the numbers drop a little bit. And against right-handed pitching. Last 30 days, 4th, 2nd, and 1st. You remember these numbers used to be 4th, 2nd, and 4th, I'm sorry. These numbers used to be 1st across the board. Last 14 days, last 7 days, Yankees actually a bottom half lineup against right-handed pitching. The last 4 righty starters to pitch against the Yankees, 3.74 ERA and an 0.97 whip. So they haven't gotten to righty starters recently, and you can see Cutter Crawford didn't get to him. I mean, they scored 3 runs in the game, just 4 base runners in 6 innings. Didn't really get to Cooper Criswell. They did get to Bayo. So they got to Brian Bayo. There's one they got to. But before that, Alec Marsh, 7 shutout innings, just 3 base runners against the Yankees. And look at all the expected FIPs on the right side of this chart. These righty starters are able to make some outs against the Yankees lineup recently. And check this out. Albert Suarez, absolutely dominant numbers against righty bats. 237 WOBA and an 096 whip against righties. Yankees, righty-heavy lineup. 6 righties projected to be in the lineup for the Yanks. Oh, I'm sorry, 5. They got a 4th lefty in there. So maybe this isn't such a terrible spot for Albert Suarez. And this is a super small sample size, but I thought it was interesting enough to include it. He's thrown 5 2/3 innings pitch against top 10 lineups versus righties this year. Didn't allow a single run and an 0.53 whip. It's only 5 2/3 innings. I probably shouldn't have included this, but I thought it was interesting. Now, if you're looking to back the Yanks here, you can point at the pitch mix. Albert Suarez throws the 4-seam fastball and the cutter. Yankees, excellent offensive numbers against those 2 pitches. So pitch mix wise, that's solid. That's a solid look for the Yankees. But as a whole, I don't think it's crazy to say Albert Suarez is able to pitch a decent game here in Yankee Stadium. Yankees bats cooling off a little bit. So I think both starting pitchers could pitch well, which is why I like the first 5 under 5. I already bet that. As far as the bullpen matchup here, all Baltimore. Yanks bullpen has really cooled off. In the last 30 days, the Yankees are a bottom 10 bullpen, 24th in ERA, 23rd in WOBA, 24th in expected FIP. Meanwhile, Baltimore's bullpen has been great, and they've been great on the road as well. In the last 30 days, this is a top 10 bullpen. Yankees bullpen at home in Yankee Stadium, bottom 10. So bullpen matchup definitely goes to Baltimore. Offensively against bullpens, pretty even here. Maybe a slight edge to Baltimore, but in the last 30 days, Baltimore second across the board, Yankees 7th, and 8th. So both offenses have been productive in the late innings, but the Baltimore bullpen has been much better than the Yankees. So as a whole, as far as betting this game, I don't know how we don't take Baltimore at plus 130. I did. I already bet it. I did bet the first 5 under as well, like I said. So I have 2 bets down on this one. First 5 under 5. Baltimore money line at plus 130. Like I said earlier, live show, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. If you're able to make it, would love to see you in the comments. If you want my top bets or top bets from anyone on the staff here, head over to KyleKirms.com and sign up for Sauce Network Plus. Comes with top bets, access to the Discord. You also can participate in our weekly betting league. $100 and a trophy goes to the winner every single week. So head over to the website and sign up if you're interested. Let's have ourselves a nice Tuesday night here. Hopefully Monday turns around for me. Coming off a bad weekend, too. Could really use a nice Monday night. We'll see. Toronto is looking like a loss, but I do have some other action open, so we'll see. But yeah, remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.